What's up, friends? Welcome back to Live at the Roxy. Today, returning the favor, coming on the stream and coming in hot. We have a lot of things to talk about. It has been quite the year for both of us, and we have definitely gone through it together. And I thought the worst of the year was early in January, but here we are during quarantine. John Rocha in the house, everybody.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me on, Roxy. How are you?
It seems to be the question these days. How are you? I feel like I'm okay. How are you?
Yeah, same. I think in some, and I've been saying this on a couple of podcasts recently, and this doesn't excuse what happened in January. I want to make that very clear, but it's almost like a weird, indirect blessing in disguise that we got laid off a little bit early because we got to be ahead on the jump of people who were being laid off and furloughed over the last couple of weeks. As they start to develop their YouTube channels and start their stuff, we had a bit more of, fire when we got let go. And so more people jumped on our stuff and monetized. And at least on my end, I think you were already there, but at least on my end. So in some weird way, it just kind of like boosted us up a little bit higher. And so we're not struggling to find a camera or struggling to do all these other, which I hear about from other people who are starting their YouTube channels. So yes, it's tough right now. It sucks. I don't know what the future holds. It's crazy to be in this weird, I don't know what's going to happen time. But that being said, I'm excited that at least I've got a chance to kind of like start this channel and get it monetized quickly. That was a positive,
I completely agree. Honestly, I get so mad at people when I'm going through hard times and they say the world works in mysterious ways. And I remember when everything was going down with Collider, and there was a couple of different stuff that happened in January that was just really challenging work-wise. Everybody kept saying like, the universe has a plan for you and, learn to trust. And I was like, I'm going to murder all the people right now. But lo and behold, come March, when we needed to be able to make to make a living, to support ourselves during this time where everybody's losing their jobs. We had the web cameras and the microphones and the things to do it. And that doesn't make it it doesn't mean that's not challenging, but I agree with you that it kind of ended up being a little bit of a blessing, which is it's so crazy to kind of think about it like that. And you just told me before this, which I didn't even realize, that there were more layoffs going on. I didn't even know that some of our friends had been losing their jobs.
I got a text from a couple of people who got let go from our former outlet or furloughed, whatever it is, the term that they're using there, because there's no movies to cover really much, and there's not much content to cover other than the written content. So a lot of our friends, and including our friend Wendy, were furloughed or let go. And so they're having to figure out what they're going to do next. I mean, Wendy in a way better position because Movie Couple is at 28,000, 30,000 subscribers. So Wendy is
right now.
Yeah, Wendy's killing it. And Wendy works so hard on that channel. She has such a strong work ethic.
Also, she's amazing.
What she does. Person. Yes, of course. Yes. People wouldn't watch if she wasn't. Yeah. Good point.
But
it's not ending. So.
We did talk about that we have been working on these shows for a while, and you have been at this you have really dedicated yourself. I think you do more streams than any of us right now. How many streams are you doing a week? What are you at right now?
Wow. I haven't even thought about think about the number, but every day, at least 2 to 3 streams, and then more if I'm guesting on other people's streams. For sure, because I got mornings with the Outlaw Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Then I have the Outlaw Nation show on Tuesday night. Then Strong Style, which is the pro wrestling show, that goes up on Thursday night. Then Geek Buddies on Wednesday. Then I still do Top 10 as a podcast, and we're also on camera for the YouTube show. And then the Cinephiles I do with Steve. What else? And then the Sports Time, Game Time I do with Jay and Winston and a rotating band of guests. I do that as a live stream. And then Friday, we did it a couple of weeks in a row. I don't know what's going to go with that. We got Weekend at Outlaws, where me and Video Drew do talk about weird stuff as we go into the night. Yeah, she's great. She's a lot of fun. I saw you had her on your stream, and she was all like gussied up for you, which was great.
And I prepped to have her. I watched her on your stream. And you guys have such a fun energy about the two of you. You never know. During this time of quarantine, I feel like there's a lot of I guess pun intended, odd couples. There's a lot of odd couples going down,
Mm-hmm.
and seeing who kind of I've liked the opportunity because a lot of the people I've had on are people I've gotten to work with before, like you, John. Obviously, we know we have great on-air chemistry. We're friends.
Agreed.
It's easy to have you on. You know, I don't have to have you on and think like, what are we going to talk about? How is it going to go? But I've had people on that I have never had done an hour show with before, and some of it has been like, wow. Speaking of one, Video Drew, I was like, wow, she has such a crazy life story. I didn't even know about her car accident or any of this stuff.
Did you know who she was married to before? Did she tell you that?
No, she said on the show, she said, I don't know if you know, in a past life I was married to a very famous person. But then I didn't want to pry because it seemed like she didn't.
Okay.
Is it public knowledge?
But yeah, you can Google it and find it. I mean, it's Ari Melber who hosts stuff at MSNBC. He's her former husband, and so so she's like she has. So you can Google it and find it. So I don't think I'm not divulging anything private.
Wow, huh?
Yeah.
Did it go south or a pleasant split? You have no idea?
I don't know. I don't sense that, and this is me speaking, like, I don't know. We haven't had end-off conversations of it, so I don't want to get anybody in trouble. I haven't sensed that it was necessarily that amicable of a split, but it seemed like a respectful split. Yeah.
Speaking of relationships, I know last we spoke, your lady had to go and do some personal stuff with, I think, her sister or something. Going to help out family member. Is she back? Are you guys back quarantined together?
Yeah, we're back quarantined. She's doing fine. You know, she's building up her photography business. So, like, you know, she's in the living room office working on her stuff. I put on my noise canceling earphones and I work on my stuff, and then come into the office to record stuff when we're doing the live stream. So it's like, it's constant every day. It feels like we're both busier than we were when we were working our jobs before, you know, because she was furloughed from her job. I don't want to say where she works, but she was furloughed from her job. So she could come back. She could come back, but she's kind of really focusing on building up this photography business. And she already has someone who's reached out asking for a portfolio for a possible project that could be big. So it's like, she's incredibly brilliant with the camera. And
I saw photos of you and they were amazing.
And those were that's for a class. That was just for a class, a lighting class. It wasn't even like with all the setups. Like, she just kind of worked with whatever she had. So she has a natural talent for it. So I do nothing but encourage her and hope she, you know, kind of establishes herself and is happy pursuing this, just like I'm trying to be happy pursuing this.
Right. Yeah. Easiest and hardest part of being in a relationship during quarantine? What are they?
Well, we get along so well. The easiest part is that we understand each other's need for space and independence, and neither one of us gets upset with the other one when they want to kind of be on their own for a little bit. There's never any kind of
that. Is that like, I need space, honey, or is it not spoken?
It's more like, I'm going to watch this, or I'm going to go in the room and watch this. And if she doesn't want to do that, she's not going to do that. And she'll say to me, I'm going to go and focus on this, or I've got work I need to do. And boom, you know, and so when she says I got work I need to do, that's just the cue line for me that she's going to focus on what she needs to get done. I put on the headphones and work on what I need to get done and start getting ahead of the week. So there's never any fights about that. Never at all. And I think that's why we get along so well, because we both love being around each other. And we balance it out by, when we need our independence, we kind of take it where we need. And for me, it's like playing a video game or putting on headphones and watching music videos, because I'm obsessed with music videos. For her, it's like,
I didn't know that about you.
Yeah. I mean, I can spend hours just watching old 80s, 90s, 2000s music videos, because they kind of regress me back to a place where I was like still hopeful about the world. So they bring back a little more of a possibility, a feeling of like things are possible. So they calm my tension down, my nerves down. They ease me.
Some of them are so goofy though, John. Yeah, some old music videos, especially when we're talking 80s music videos. I mean, it's great to watch them right now in quarantine, because it's like, what else is going to make you feel okay about the world?
Yeah.
It's not some kind of hair metal video. I'm with you. But what's the hardest part? What's been challenging about being in a relationship in quarantine? Anything?
I think both. I think the shared fear that we don't know what's coming, right? I think that's
because of jobs.
Because of job situation. And we're both a little older. So it's like, what's the potential? Like, she's way more positive and hopeful than I am about it. But that's the toughest thing, I think, for us, is that, we're just worried about what the future. Oh, well, we're worried about what the future might bring, me more so than her.
Well, correct
And
me if
so
I'm wrong, and also tell me if I'm overstepping, but you guys have spoken about the possibility of children, correct?
that's not going to happen. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
that
yeah.
it's not gonna happen. Oh,
Right.
okay.
That was
So
on the second date. She made it very, very
very,
clear.
very clear.
Yeah,
Okay,
if you're
so
looking for that, it's not going to happen here, and don't even think you're going to talk me out of it. So it was her very real, like, presentation at the beginning on the second date. It's not going to happen.
I feel like that takes a lot of pressure off of the career situations, at least to follow your passion. So that, I mean, I know nothing about kids. It's an ongoing bit with our friends because I literally know. But the only thing I know is that they cost a lot of money.
Yes, they do.
So you're able to support each other
Yeah.
and just focus on what it is that you want to do. And now she can focus on the photography, and you are building a legitimate network empire for
Yeah.
yourself, John. So that's pretty great.
I'm
that you're
trying.
on the same page.
Yeah. She's very
Don't
supportive
say
of it.
that.
Okay. I'm
You're
doing
not
it.
trying.
I'm doing
You're
it.
not trying.
Yeah. You're right.
Because you have people. I mean, you text me and you tell me how is everybody getting these views or whatever. John, your channel is huge. Like, you're getting more views than I am a lot of the time, and you have, I think, almost 13,000 subscribers now.
Yeah,
That's
almost.
crazy. The amount of people that are watching your show, and you do such an incredible job with it. I remember I came on,
Thank you.
and there's the music and these big intros, and there are multiple hours. I mean, I saw you did a 3-hour show.
Mhm.
You're not trying. You're doing
Okay.
it.
Fair enough. I'm doing it. Yes. And I'm, you know me though, Rox, you know how I am. I'm like, why am I not there? And so it's like, I'm always thinking and troubleshooting. Right. And we share that in common. Like, I'm always thinking and troubleshooting and trying to figure out what I need to do next. And so for me, the next two avenues or frontiers to explore are Twitch, and Patreon, doing more for the Patreon, because I had Ben on the show on Outlaw Nation show, and it was interesting to hear him talk about how many shows they are creating at the action industry for their patrons, for their patrons.
They
I think
have
it's
a
genius.
different business model than you and I do.
Yeah,
You know, we are streaming on our own channels every day. They don't do that. You know, they do, I think, 2 public shows a week.
Yeah.
But their Patreon is crushing for them. So I'm looking into that too. And then let me know what you find out about this Twitch thing. Emma had to talk me through it a little bit yesterday. I have never felt so clueless as I do when I try to figure out Twitch. Maybe because I'm not a gamer. It seems so complicated to me. It's hard.
Well, Goddard seems to have mastered it, because Goddard is like DJing and people are paying him to play music. So I was like, well, my music library is pretty extensive. So, I mean, that could be something to explore. But also, I had my Patreon hangout every Wednesday where we just hang out and like shoot the shit on the Patreon. And then later on tonight, it'll be on camera for the $7 and above. But they were already starting to walk me through TikTok connected to my Xbox, how I can play and have it be seen by people on Twitch, rather, not TikTok, Twitch. And so they were walking me through how to connect everything through Twitch. So I think tonight they'll on camera show me how to set everything up, so then I'll be able to go from there. But, you know, it can get exhausting, Rox. I mean, it's a lot of work to put all, because I don't get to share the workload. It's all mine. So,
me too.
You know, yeah,
me too. That's what I'm always on Ben and Drew about that, like how lucky they are to have each other, because but then again, when you share a workload, you split the income.
Right. True.
So
very true.
I think there's pros and cons to both. But yeah, at the end of the day, I've got amazing people in here, and you guys know who you are. But my incredible moderators, Jake Yacovetta, who makes these layouts for me or overlays for me, Jacob Patrick with the thumbnails, everybody who's just been here supportive. But at the end of the day, it's still, I get you, John. I feel you, because it still is a lot. It's a lot on one person. It can be exhausting. What you mentioned your Patreon. What is it's patreon.com/
John Rocha. Yeah, that's it. Just patreon.com/John Rocha. And, you know, everything is there. There's multiple tiers, things of that nature. I'll be doing watch alongs soon. And last night also, we started kicking around ideas for creating shows that are just based for the Patreon, you know. So I can see a future where a couple of the shows that I'm doing now kind of go by the wayside, and I replace them with Patreon shows so that people feel the desire to subscribe to the Patreon and join the Patreon. Right, exactly. And they'll get like even more personal interactions in that way with the show. So that's, you know, it's all a work in progress, and I have to take a little bit of time. And I hope you're doing that too, Roxy, to see the difference between January and March and April, and the difference between our looks and the overall quality of what we're producing. I think it's been incredible to do the leap years per month. And now it's like, okay, how do we hone it even more? And so that's kind of what my focus is now.
I looked back the other day. I don't know if you've done this. It just popped up on my YouTube, but I got I clicked on my YouTube, and it was my first one in this playlist of Live at the Roxy, and it's me on my bed with like my camera, my phone like this, and I think it was titled "If I Turn on My Camera, Will Anybody See Me?" And that's the title of the video. And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, just to be clear, can you guys see me? Can you hear me? Is this thing on? Like, ridiculous. So yeah, I definitely think we have gone far. And we have even further to go, even on today's show. We got a lot of stuff to talk about today. John, I definitely want to pick your brain about what's going on in the WWE. You guys know at home, I'm a super duper casual WWE fan. So I love hearing about what's going on, but I'm not an expert. And John, you absolutely are. So I want to pick your brain on that. Also, I saw that John Krasinski is throwing a prom. So whatever exactly that looks like. And we also have questions for you in the Streamlabs, in the super chat, in the Patreon, all of that great stuff. So let's start with a couple super chats, and then we'll get to some of those topics. Larry Lease, who says, Roxy and Rocha, love you both. Guys, hit that like button. Thank you, Larry, for pimping out my stream so I don't have to. Hit that like button is right. Would really appreciate that. Larry also said something that we have to get out of the way, John.
Oh boy.
We're doing that. The flirt and flouse. Yo, I don't know. I don't know about this, the flirt and flouse. I don't know. I'm texting with the flirt and flouse himself last night. I saw the picture with the curly Q. Yeah. Do your thing, I guess. But I mean,
It's the quarantine. It's the self-isolation. You know, people are going to go crazy. And truth is, Brett and Christian are funny when they're doing SCN Live. They seem to be keeping the ship afloat over there, and people are enjoying it. And they did the shaving of the head for $1,200. I told them last night, the people who were asking me about it, I won't shave my head for under $5,000. This ain't Brett Sheridan hair or Christian Harloff hair. This is good hair.
Wait,
so 5,000 is what you need. 5K. That would cover rent for about 2 or 3 months. So I'm 5K seems about right.
John, but is, I feel like I would do it for 5K.
There you go.
No, that's not true. No, that's not true. I think to shave my head,
10K for Roxy. No, not even 10. Wow. I love it. To
shave my head. I mean, well, think about it, John. My hair is down to my belly button.
Oh, wow. So really? Okay.
I don't even know if people realize how long my hair is. And it is like my prized possession. I think I would do it for a roll.
Right.
Or maybe 100K.
100K.
I think 100K. Wow. So if you guys want to, if you want that, my Streamlabs, just put it in there, the 100K. And I guess the head will be shaved.
Goddard said 15K. Give me a break.
Is he in here? Did he just say that?
No. Someone mentioned the guy that said it. Yeah, 15K.
All right. Larry also says, has been doing streams since Lincoln was president.
That's right. That's right. I had Lincoln on one of my
Why do they like to make so many shots at you?
Because they know I don't look that old, and I look younger than anybody making those comments. So I can take it just fine in stride.
Yeah, that's true. It's you and Snyder, and it's meaner when they do it to Snyder. So
right, because Snyder does look like he's older. No, just saying.
Preston Bryant says, Rocha, you're not trying. I think you're succeeding. That's what I'm talking about, Preston. It's not even I think you're succeeding. We know you're succeeding. Also, shout out to John Doe in here. The world works in mysterious ways. John, you're awesome, John Doe, popping in here sometimes, and I won't even take offense to you telling me that during this weird time. But don't you know what I'm talking about, Rocha? Like
Of
those
course.
people come in with those like one sentence fixers.
Yeah.
The world works in mysterious ways, and it's like, can anybody just ever say, "Oh, that fucking sucks"?
Yeah, that's all you want. That's the thing I learned after, when you go through a life event, a life-changing event, like when my dad died, right? There was like people came up were like, it's going to get better, or you'll get better, or, he's in a better place, or, you'll get past this. And you're just like, get out of here. Just get the fuck away from me. What you want to hear is, do you need anything? I'm here for you. I'm sorry you're going through that. That's all you want to hear, man. Really. And not even that much, huh?
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, you and I relate in that field of losing a parent, and I will never forget the amount of people who had never lost a parent who came up to me and they're like, "God has a plan," and it was like, I don't care about God's plan. I don't care what you're saying at all right now. Like whether you're right or wrong, it's irrelevant. All I want is somebody who says, do you want to grab a whiskey with me and just bitch about it? Like, I'm so sorry. That sucks. Right. What do you need? And then I had friends too who were like, you should be going on doing more yoga right now for you. Do you want to go to a yoga class with me? It's like, how about you ask me what I want to do? Because what I want to do is go to the fucking bar. Like, ask me.
Everyone's got their process. Yeah,
totally. My process was not pretty, but it got me through.
When is it? When is it?
Douglas Johnson. It was $1,400 to shave, $2,000 to video it. Patreon. Oh, so did they do $2,000 for the Patreon?
Yeah, no, they didn't do that. I wish they did that. Jesus. But no, I thought about it, and it's been a day since, or a few hours since, and so the price has gone up. That's how it goes. Nowadays,
this is legit on the table, John.
Oh, sure, for $5,000, absolutely.
I don't know.
It'll grow back. My hair grows back fast. That's what
if I were you, I would do that.
Yeah. It'll grow
My
back.
hair would take
insane.
10 years. It would take 10 years to grow back.
Right. Yeah. Crystal Gale territory. That hair is long.
Yeah. You know that Josh McCouga forever called me a spinster. That was his name for me. He was like, you look like a spinster. Well, when he met me, I had not cut my hair in 5 years.
Oh, wow. How does that work, though? It just keeps growing and it just keeps hanging there. So you don't do any trimming, any kind of like, you know what I'm saying?
At that time, I had a really weird, speaking of dead parents, I had a really weird theory that I should never cut my hair again because that was hair that my mom had touched and I didn't want to cut it. Okay. So I developed this like strange attachment to my hair. And then, it had been a year since she had died and I hadn't cut my hair. And then it had been 2 years and then it had been 3 years.
Right.
And at 5 years, I was sitting on my hair. So I would sit down and I was sitting on it. I don't think I think we met after this.
Okay.
Because this was we must have met. So it wasn't 5 years since she had died. It was 5 years. Like I already hadn't gotten a haircut in 2 years or something. And then it was 3 more years or something, but whatever. Just years kept going. Yeah. And then I came home to Boston for Thanksgiving. Yeah. And my best friend was like, this is unhealthy. What are you going to do? Be the person who never cuts her hair again in the rest of her life? It's been years. And for your profession, like this is your job. I was going out on auditions and I was literally being told your hair is too long. Straight up. It was disgusting at the end. So yes, it kept growing, but she was like, we're cutting it. And she took me to like a really fancy place and paid for it and did a whole thing. It was like a really good friendship thing. Anyway, so I'm not shaving this thing, but if you would like to, $5K?
$5K. That's the deal. 5K seems good.
Corinne D, glad to see you on the show, John. Never missed an episode of Top 10. I download them and listen to the commuter rail on my way into Boston. Oh, I love that. So that combines me and you. She listens to your show in my city. Love your show, Roxy. Thanks, girl. I appreciate that. John, what's your favorite episode of Top 10 that you guys ever did?
Ooh, that is a great question. Damn, that's a great question.
Damn.
Because can I mention 3 real quick? I would say
totally.
The Mark Andreyko episode, because that's just legend. The Mark picked some of the weirdest choices for, I think it was top 10 Marvel films. So it didn't have to be MCU, it was just Marvel films.
Isn't it funny you remember the guest more than you remember the topic?
Yeah, because they left such an impression. They
Yeah.
kind of elevated the show even more by being on it. And then Draco did that for sure. I would say our top 10 70s films, we had Wayne Fetterman on there, who many people would recognize, who's a great character, comedic actor in a number of things. And we sat in my living room and just me, him, and Nost, and we just kind of hashed out the 70s. It was a lot of fun to have that discussion with him, certainly. And I think that's two of the best ones that we've ever done, because we had just such a great time.
Did you say, can I talk about 3 before you had even thought about 3?
I was thinking about the third one, and then it kind of slipped out of my head. So if it comes back to me, I will let people know. But
I like
thank
that
you.
Preemptively, you were just like, can I have 3? I don't know how many there are, but I would like 3.
Yeah, third. Oh, Mance. When Mance was on the show, when we did it at Collider as a live show, and we did the top 10 Star Trek films, and Mance slid in Galaxy Quest as one of his choices, and I lost my shit on the show in a very funny way, and we had a fun.
Did you guys let him do that?
Yeah, we had to, because it was his choice. But when we put the things together, I think it made it right at the end of the list on the bottom. When we put it together.
Incredible. Are you a Galaxy Quest fan?
Yeah, I love that movie. You're kidding? To pieces. Yeah,
it's so good. It's so good.
The documentary is on Hulu or Amazon Prime now, and people should go watch it.
Are you talking about the Screen Junkies documentary? Hell yeah. Going into the Streamlabs, streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer. Tomad just showed a little support. Appreciate that. Weston Ira says, welcome to the danger zone. Who do you think Biden should go for as VP? And as this can say a lot about a person, how much would you have to be paid for the World Girls to stun you? Ellis said $5,000. Hashtag Rock's Law. Okay, so the first part of that, who do you think Biden should go for as VP? Who do you think, if you answer? I don't know if you talk politics at all, John.
No, I do, of course. Yeah. It's kind of one of the things that I miss talking about on the Outlaw Nation show, because I've just been bringing people on to talk about their lives. But there is a possibility of that coming in as extra content to do.
Cool.
I would say, I like the idea of Klobuchar. I like the idea of having a female running mate. I think if you're going to hit a 1-2 punch, it's good to have those two, because also Klobuchar is young, so she balances out Biden in that way. I've heard a lot of people talk about Kamala, but Kamala should be the Attorney General. Kamala would be a great Attorney General.
She's number one on most people's lists right now of who they think he will go with. Klobuchar is usually number 2. I actually think that maybe one of the reasons he was able to get Klobuchar to drop out of the race so early was because a promise to her.
Yeah, probably.
And I wouldn't mind either of them, but obviously my pick is Elizabeth Warren, because I'm such a fan of hers. And I think she would make every time I pick her for anything, it's because I think she would make the best. I think she would have made the best president of the United States, and I think she'd make the best vice president. I think that she would be incredible. So I think, John, he's already promised that he is choosing a woman.
That's great.
I believe so.
And I think you got to put people in certain places, right? Warren is great with commerce and the SEC stuff. So you put her in charge of that. So, and if you could find a way to make Bernie and not Schumer, the head of the Speaker of the House or Speaker of the Congress, if they get the majority Speaker, rather, if they get Congress back, that would be interesting too. So that would be interesting. You got to put people in positions where they can really succeed at. And I think there's a lot of talented people on that side of the political aisle who can do a lot of great work for us.
For the second part about it, how much would you have to be paid for the World Girls to stun you with a stun gun?
Explain what this means.
It's literally, so me, Doreen, and Steph, we started that show, The World Girls, we give things a whirl. Somebody sent me a stun gun, and they asked Ellis how much he would get paid if we stunned him. So it literally means that if we stunned you with a stun gun,
right?
How much would you do it for?
I'm not as funny as Mark, so I will do it for $4,000, and it can't be in the face.
Ooh, $4,000. Wow. In the face. I would never do that to you. But that's what you're trying to protect?
Yes.
I would protect the nether regions.
Or the face or the well, I'm not going to have kids, so it's no big deal. But I don't need
ow,
not
John.
in the neck and not in the face.
Ow. no.
Don't shoot there either. But
Moving forward, Anthony Perez, move us forward. Hi, Roxy and Rocha. Can't watch live today, but wanted to support the stream. My question is there any chance we could get a proper finale to Collider Live? Having a stream with the 4 of you again, 5 with Cody, would be awesome. Rena, Rocha, Riley. Why didn't they say Roxy? It's just a hashtag Rena, Rocha, Riley. No hashtag for me, Anthony?
What was the actual order, Rox? Well, I forget what the actual order was.
Rena, Riley, Rocha, Roxy.
Yeah, okay, cool. There it is.
Cody and Alex. Yeah, like that. It was based on who I saw. So I looked across Rena, Riley, Rocha, Roxy.
Right. That makes sense.
That's a simple way of, the Roxy simple mind on that. Who do I see next? So a chance in we have a lot of stuff going on right now, but I won't say that we haven't talked about it.
Yeah.
We definitely have talked about it. I think it's something that we are all seriously interested in.
Yeah.
It's just been challenging as we're all starting our, all 4 of us are live streaming right now.
Yeah.
And I will also say I've even spoken to Josh about wanting to do something as well. I think mostly because we all really like each other.
Yeah.
So it's fun to do things with your friends. But I definitely think a finale, I don't know if it's a finale to Collider Live, but I think that you will see all of us do something in the future in some capacity. John, would you say something along those lines?
I think so. I think either we'll do it ourselves, because it's like, it's the financial aspect of it all. It's like, how do we split all, from people donating and things of that nature? Or do we start a whole new YouTube channel? And if we start a whole new YouTube channel, we've got to get up to those 1,000 hours or 4,000 hours, whatever it is, of watch
4,000 hours, 1,000 subscribers. Yeah.
1,000 subscribers. Right. I think we have 1,000 subscribers overnight, but like 4,000 hours of watch time will take us time. So we'll have to do a couple of shows, essentially pro bono, and see if it'll get to that level so we get monetized and start figuring out how we would do that. Or someone picks us up on another network or another channel and puts us all together and has Cody and Alex and Makuga all in there. And so we're all having a good time just doing that. Because I think our show would thrive at night too. Like,
me too. I always thought that.
Right?
I always thought that.
SCN has that show in the morning. I think we could be a great companion show to SCN at night, starting at 6 or 7 and do a 2 to 3 hour show. I think every night, I think people would effing eat that up. That's what I think.
I agree. So networks, are you listening? I know you all watch this show. Hannah Christen here says, love seeing you two stream. Have either of you watched Love Island UK, since Roxy likes reality TV and Rocha likes British TV? You might both like it. It's a little less ridiculous than the US show. All seasons are on Hulu. I have not. Have you?
I have not, but I will say this. I watched both trailers and I definitely leaned more towards the UK trailer. And so if I was going to do it, that's the one that I would do. If I was going to give a chance to that kind of show.
I think I would love it, but there's also so much other stuff that I'm watching right now. I'll look into it. Going to the super chat, jumping back and forth. Morse code Z. They did make 2K. The video is available on SEN Patreon at $10. They played the audio of the family reaction.
Yeah.
Wow. It's just like so strange. The things that we'll do for money right now. Larry Lee says, yes, Rocha, feel free to spend hours talking politics. Would love to hear your thoughts. Yeah.
Steve and I have kicked around the idea, but go ahead. Sorry, Roxy, cut you off.
No, Steve and you. Steve.
Oh, yeah, Steve Morris from the Cinephiles. Yeah, we did a coronavirus live stream on our YouTube channel, which only has like has about almost 4,000 subscribers. Sorry. And we did a 40-minute thing, and it got a lot of good responses. Then Steve reached out and said, what are we going to talk about next? And I was like, well, it has to be connected to film, because the only reason we were talking about coronavirus is because of how it was stopping productions and stopping films from coming out. We're a film podcast. We're not going to talk about, the politics that's going on nowadays. It doesn't make sense for the brand. So
that's very true.
Yeah. So if we do, and if I do anything, it could be with me and Steve, but it'll be on my channel and I'll host it. And in that way, it's different from Cinephiles, because he hosts Cinephiles while I'm co-host on that. So it would be that. But we'll see. It's certainly something I'm kicking around, because we're entering into a lot of stuff that's going down.
More than entering.
Yeah.
We've entered. We have arrived.
Yeah. Biden is the nominee. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. A couple different things coming in from Mac. Let me see if I can decipher this because 1 of 4, 2 of 4, 3 of 4, 4 of 4. Let's get through them. Thank you, Mac. He says, "Hey, Outlaw, from one vet to another, I'm, and thank you both for your service. I'm a medically retired combat medic in the Army who was in a lot of combat. First, thank you for your service. Second, what was your job while you served? I am suffering with my psych issues right now. How are you? I am a high school teacher, English teacher who is struggling with not seeing my students in several months. It was just announced that my seniors would not have prom. Is there a moment of your high school experience you would have, you would hate to have missed?" So those are part 1 and 2. Let's stop there to let you answer, and then we'll go to 3 and 4.
Yeah, what's the first part is
the first one was how are you? He said what was your job while you served and how are you doing?
I was a 31 Charlie, which is a radio telephone operator, and I was out of the Signal Corps there in Fort Gordon in Georgia. But I did not see any theater of war. So in that way, I imagine that I am doing better than you. It sounds like, because I don't have to carry that experience with me. And I know that experience damages a lot of young men and women who see it and experience it and have to spend a lifetime, coming to terms with it, getting past it, figuring it out, doing the work, also having people there to help them do the work. And unfortunately, our veterans are some of the most underserved people in this country. We crow about sending them out to fight, and we crow about the pride of America so we can sit at home and not serve, or a lot of people can sit at home and not serve, and then not pay attention to how they're being treated at Walter Reed and all these hospitals that should have the highest quality. Every hospital that treats veterans or servicemen should have a Johns Hopkins level of quality to all of them as a thank you, because a lot of these people also are serving because they have no other option. They do serve for love of country, but also because financially they're a lot from the lower classes in terms of finances, in terms of money, lower classes in our country, and so they see the military as a way to build a career, do a 20-year job, get a pension, have a house, things of that nature, consistent job, healthcare. And so, but when they're damaged in war, emotionally and physically, we don't do enough of the upkeep because we get caught up in the stigma of manhood and masculinity and all that kind of stuff, being tough, and we don't understand that our veterans need so much more than what we're even providing now, which is why things like Wounded Warrior Project and other charities step up to kind of fill those holes to help people get over it. So I'm sorry you're going through that, my man. And I hope the thing I can tell you is that you have to be, maybe this could be a blessing in disguise, because removing these kids, if you were depending on the kids to lift your spirits or take your spirits down, it's got to be you. So maybe start the process of working through the fact that it's got to be you that picks your spirits up, and you that can maybe let yourself down a little bit and then find a way to come back up. Because if you keep relying on the kids, then you're relying on outside sources to make you happy or disappointed or change your emotions. And the truth is, you have to have the power to do that for yourself. That's something I discovered in my own life. So that's what I would encourage you to do.
Great advice, John. I love that. And the second part of that about the high school moments, something that you would have hated to have missed. Anything you can think of?
Yeah, I guess just acting, like being in the plays. That would have, so much of that just changed my life, being able to be on a stage and do acting. So yeah, I would hate to have missed the 3 or 4 plays that I did while I was there in high school.
Going into part 3 and 4 of this, Max says, tomorrow I am going back to work to give laptops and hotspots to 1,400 students.
Great.
And I'm really worried about staying safe. I mean, I've been to war, but I'm scared to go outside. Any thoughts on that? And finally, Roxy, I love your stream and almost everything you do. Almost. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Why did you focus on the almost? Damn it, Roxy.
I was hoping if you would talk a bit about the old Screen Junkies days. Finally, love both your factions, but how would it be if Roxy were your and Dan's manager? Better? ? Wow, Max throwing all of the questions in here. So talking about being scared to go outside and thoughts on that. You can only do what you can do to stay safe. You're doing a great thing bringing them hotspots and laptops. They need those things to learn. So, when we talk about things that are essential, that's essential. You got to do it. But keep your distance, the 6 feet apart. Make sure that you have gloves and masks. If you don't have those things, have the things that are equivalent to that, whether that means plastic bags on your hands and a scarf on your face, or whatever you can do to protect yourself and protect others. And any kind of alcohol spray, Purell, anything that you can do to wipe things down.
Totally.
And just think about it like that. This is something you have to do. You're going to do. So do it the safest way you can. Try to be as pragmatic about it as possible.
Yeah.
In terms of the old Screen Junkies days, I can talk about that a little more later, but we have so many questions for John pouring in right now.
Okay.
So I will take on this manager question. John, would it be better if I was your manager?
I'm not going to answer whether it would be better, but I will say that I think Dan and I would have a fantastic time having you as our manager.
I would love that. I would love, I mean, you guys would be such a joy to manage, because I don't think that you and I would have any of the issues that you have had. And you guys are two of the best players, honestly, the two best players to ever be in the Schmodown. So that would be, it's a joy for anybody to have you. And for anybody who messes that up, they're a buffoon. Just saying. Mayra M says, love you both. My lunch is over, so gotta go to work. I'm just happy to see anybody say that they have work.
Yeah, agreed.
Anybody who says they gotta go to work, I'm like, you go to work, get there, do your thing. Morse code says 31K10 in Germany 89. What is that? Is that a war thing?
I have no clue. I have no clue what that is.
31K10. I don't know. Sorry, Morse code. Let us know what that means. Moving forward from Billy Belford, he says, outlaw. Hypothetically speaking, if you were quarantined on your birthday, how would you celebrate it? Asking for a friend. Billy Belford, you can't hide from us. I saw that it was your birthday today. Happy birthday to my amazing moderator, my friend. You rock. But okay, just hypothetically speaking, John, how would you celebrate a quarantine birthday?
So it's Billy's birthday?
Yeah, I saw that today.
Dude, happy birthday, my man. So happy that you got this far, and wishing you many more birthdays, brother. You're a good soul, man. So I appreciate you being alive for all of us to enjoy you. And of course, for helping out Roxy. Quarantining my birthday would be simple. Would be absolutely simple. I think I would order some IHOP for breakfast and have it waiting curbside pickup, and I'd bring it home and eat it and watch some movie that I really love to watch, maybe some sports movie in the morning, then do a live stream with just a 2-hour live stream with a couple of people or a few people, having them coming in live and talking about it on my birthday, and then eventually do some karaoke on Twitch, which apparently you can do now, and I love to do karaoke on my birthday, so maybe a stream about that. And then eventually order dinner with my girlfriend from my favorite restaurant, have them deliver it, and enjoy a little cheesecake for the wrap up. Or pecan pie. That's what I would essentially do.
Is your favorite restaurant Cheesecake Factory?
No. I'm saying cheesecake is my favorite food.
The dessert.
Dessert. Cheesecake or pecan
order
pie.
A little cheesecake. I was going to say, wow. Okay. What is your favorite restaurant? Can you say, or you can't say because then people will find you?
No. Good question. I have been steered away from Maggiano's. I really love Maggiano's. I'm a big spaghetti meatballs guy.
Yeah,
I'm just a big spaghetti meatballs guy, and I love their spaghetti meatballs. But people give me shit because it's a chain, so I can't 100% like it. But here in this area, Little Tony's is a fantastic mom and pop Italian place that I love to eat at. And then
I've never been.
Have you never been to Little Tony's?
No.
Holy crap! Yeah, it's all mom and pop stuff. It's one store.
Go.
It's people are like 70 years old, 60 years old, still making the food back there. And
that's how you know it's good. That's how you know.
Yep.
I can always judge how food is going to be based on the clientele when I walk in and the people that are making it behind. You just always know. You always know.
Absolutely.
Garth Harkness McMurray says, speaking of Video Drew and Odd Couple, tune into Video Drew's YouTube channel tonight at 9 p.m. Pacific time for the reunion of the Patriots. JTE and Jeff Snyder will be doing Pulp Fiction trivia on Video Chronic Pop Quiz by Video Drew and Nerd Chronic, #Rockstars. Great plug, Garth. Love to hear that. Patriots rule. They're both my boys. Isn't it funny that I have both of them on my team?
It is funny. It's almost as if you knew something's coming down the road in Boston.
It's almost as if I didn't know we were going to have a pandemic.
Fair. That's fair too.
Weston Ira says, so Rocha, given your colorful comments about your manager in the Schmobates match against Bibbs, in which you were robbed, in my opinion,
Thank you.
Which happens first? CM Punk wrestles a match, or you leave Dagnino for a different team, like say the Rockstars? It's written right there. I swear, I didn't make it up.
I don't see CM Punk leaving a team or coming back to wrestle anytime soon. But people keep thinking, oh, if Rocha's going to leave? There's a possibility. Tom's the manager. He could trade me. He could let me go. And we saw a guy give him the mask. I don't know what that means. I don't know what nefarious plot Guy has. I don't buy the good guy. I don't buy it at all. I think as the character, that's what I'm saying. I'm not Andrew Guy as a person, but the character, I don't trust the character.
You're so concerned about how you phrase it right now, which I love.
We got to
get the two of you guys just on the phone.
I think we're going to have him on the Outlaw Nation show. I think it's going to be a toe down. We're going to hammer this thing out once and for. But the thing is, both of us. I don't think both of us think ill of each other. I think both of us jockey to be the top heel. I don't like when he calls himself the top heel ever in the Schmoda. I don't. It bristles me because I still consider myself the top heel ever. That's a funny thing. I will never fight to be the GOAT. I don't want to be seen as the GOAT. Dan is always going to be the GOAT, and I'm never changing that in my mind. But as far as top heel, I always want that credit over Andrew because there is no guy without me. There is no heel guy without me laying the groundwork for a year and taking all the hits.
Does that make you the best?
Yes. Oh, I think it does.
All right. By the way, guys, the word is renege, right? When you go back on something.
Yes.
Renege something. I have to renege something. I said that Guy was going to be my 420 guest. He is not going to be my 420 guest. He does work too closely with kids, and the kind of 420 I am looking to have is not a good fit for the kind of
fair enough
thing that he's doing right now, which totally makes sense. I don't know who I'm going to have on for 420. I've been starting to think about maybe doing a solo 420 just with you guys and a nice.
Why not Finstock?
I don't think he smokes.
That doesn't compute my brain at all.
I know, but I actually think that that's true.
Really?
I'll have to ask him. He hasn't come on the show yet.
If we did a nighttime 420, I think I could do that with you. If we did a nighttime 420, but then I would have to be outside because I'm not like Roxy Stryer, who thinks it's okay to smoke and blow the smoke in people's windows. I'm not like that. So
I live by myself, John. Blow it in people's windows. Jesus Christ.
That was a Collider Live conversation way back.
Going into the Streamlabs, Jake Iacovetta says, happy birthday, Billy Belford and Rachel Silvestrini. Oh, I didn't know it was Silvestrini's birthday also. Wow. A day of birthday.
Switchblade. All right.
Jay Surridge says, hey, Rox and Rocha, did you see Governor Cuomo extended the stay at home till May 15th here in New York?
Yes,
another month at home. I may also have to shave my head soon. LOL. It is funny to see everybody's hair. Yes, I did. I also saw about his wife. And, as long as they tell us to stay at home, I'm happy they're telling us to do that because they're doing it for one reason, to keep us safe. So if he extended to May 15th, there's obviously a reason. I have a lot of friends who live in the city. One of my best friends is a nurse in the city, and it's a tough situation over there. It's tough. It's tough everywhere. But yeah, I did see that. What do you think, John?
Yeah, I think so too. And I think they're doing. Cuomo's handled this thing incredibly well. Yes, the cases have been off the charts, but it's New York. It's a concentrated amount of people. That New York isn't the most hygienic place sometimes, and people are quite independent in New York and will do what they want to do. The frustrating part, I think, overall, as I look at what's happening lately, is like we saw yesterday at East Lansing in Michigan, these people protesting because they're mad that the government has shut stuff down, and they think and they're starting to twist this narrative. These people with nefarious political purposes are twisting the reaction that the politicians have done to save our lives and to keep this as low as possible. And they're saying, Think about this at the ballot box. It wasn't the virus that shut down your jobs. It was these politicians making these decisions to keep you from your jobs and shut you down. And it makes me so angry, because we would have had millions of people who got this and died from it if we hadn't put these stay-at-home orders into place and had people stay at home. The problem, I think, is it wasn't backed up by the government in this way. They should have suspended rent for an entire year for everybody. And property owners who were going to lose money should have been able to petition to the government and say, this is the amount of money I was making over the last 6 months. This is the amount of money I anticipated I'd be making. Please give me some compensation for this. And the federal government gives them some compensation. I think that's the way it's done. In France, they shut down rent for 6 months. Nobody has to pay rent or utilities for 6 months. Wow. Yes, complete the entire country.
Have you talked to your landlord about it at all? Have you guys had any conversation about it?
Our landlord sent us an email and said, if you've been affected by the virus, then please reach out to me and we can have a conversation about things. So at least there was the courtesy email. It wasn't like Kushner and his crooked bunch who made people sign up at all his places that he owns. He made them sign up for electronic rent removal from your bank account just a few weeks before they enacted this whole idea of stay at home. So he wanted it to be that they all paid their rent no matter what, that they took it out of their bank accounts no matter what, automatically. You couldn't stop it. Wow. And so that's the kind of dirty shit that they do up there, and people want to excuse it and forgive it. And I think it's really tearing apart the fabric of this country and the belief in this country that we were something great once upon a time. And it's ironic. Make America Great. He's made it incredibly worse. And it's sad. It's sad to see. And this virus has really exposed the limits of these person and their administration's abilities.
I'm pretty bummed my landlord hasn't said anything to me.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm doing my best to pay my rent, but it's just like, I think that a conversation should be at least like had. Yeah. Just saying, like, what do you need? Where are you at? What's going on with work? Are you able to do this? But yeah, it's not being handled well from the top. So how can you expect individuals to? In the super chat, J-Dog says, among my 2 favorite people on the planet, enjoy. Thank you, J-Dog. You rock. Wow. To be anybody's among their 2 favorite people on the planet, that's a real honor. NFL Caleb 22, just showing some support. Appreciate you. John Bailey in the house. In a world, epic voice guy with that super stick of dough. Appreciate it. Thank you, John Bailey.
I love John.
I know, he's the best. Anytime I try to imitate the voice, though, it's just, I make a mockery. In a world.
In a world. Can I give some love? John was one of the first people that reached out to me when I got let go of Collider. He sent me a DM. Really? It's a very sweet DM. And I thanked him so much, because John and I rarely talk. So for him to have even taken the time, it meant a lot. So thank you, John, again. And silence. Okay. Did I say something wrong? Roxy, are we frozen? Oh, no. Did we freeze? Am I frozen? Are you frozen?
Yeah, frozen. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh, I don't know what happened.
Yeah, it froze for a few seconds. Yeah, it was weird.
Damn internet. Larry Lee says, John, I want that Once Upon a Time lunchbox. Wow, you have good eyes. I cannot even see that. I can barely see you, let alone the lunchbox. This is me all the time on the streams. I go back and I try to see if I can clip anything out or take a picture, and every single shot, this is me. Like, Roxy, I have no more eyes.
Have you tried the bifocals?
I don't want to talk about it.
Rox, a million. You're going to have to get those bifocals, Rox.
I can't see anything.
Go to the Target. They have them on a stand. Put
right
one
now?
On and try it out. Well, after we're done, go to the Target, stand in line, get in there, put the mask on, but then go and put one of those bifocals on and test. And then you're going to find out that you probably need them.
Fine. When we're done in 2021 with all this, then I'll go. 2021, whenever it is. I want to jump into the Patreon. A couple questions in here. Matthew Gold says, will going to the movie theaters be the same ever again? John, what do you think?
Good question. I don't think so. And Scott Mendelson wrote a great article about this in Forbes. And I've been saying this on the stream on Geek Buddies and other shows, like this idea that we're going to all just come running back to the theater. I think initially I had thought that, but as the more this goes on, I think we start to understand that this could be the new normal. So many people are working from home and actually still functioning. Their businesses are still functioning. And so why wouldn't people want to keep doing that. And then the other option is theater wise. So many people are watching stuff from home and they're figuring out their schedules and realizing it can be done. I think the days of the smaller independent films or the medium-sized films, films like Joker and below, I think those films could immediately go to streaming and not have to be in the theater. So I think we're not going to go back in the numbers that we did before, and I think we'll go back slowly if we go back at all to anywhere near the levels that we did before, because people are going to be afraid, and families are going to be very afraid to bring their kids into places that they could get infected with a second strain of this stuff. So I think that's what's going to happen.
And definitely, at least until we have a vaccine, it will not be the same. I mean,
absolutely.
Definitely. And then even past that point, like you just said, sticking in the Patreon, Glenn Caesar says, "Hey Rocha, I'm loving the Strong Style show.
Thank you.
And especially the Dark Side of the Ring reviews. I'm hoping that we can get more of those, maybe even previous episodes from season 1. It's a bit of a weird way to phrase it, but which episode has been your favorite or most fascinating to watch? By the way, the WrestleMania 36 watch along that you did was great too. And lastly, R.I.P. Howard Finkel and Brian Dennehy."
Yeah.
So oh my God, Rocha, time is flying. We have a ton to still talk about. Can I keep you for a little bit?
Hell yeah, I'm having a good time. Let's stick around.
Rock. Thank you. To answer this, what do you think? Your favorite or most fascinating? Do you have one?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's nothing that's going to beat the 2-part Benoit one. Chris Benoit, that was just incredible. I think that was the high mark of what they can do with that program, because season 1 was good, but the episodes were a bit uneven. I've gone back and I binged all of them in one night. They were so engrossing, but a bit uneven. Season 2 has really elevated that program, and I really enjoyed the Benoit one. Was just a fantastic one to enjoy. New Jack was great. The Brawl for All was fun. I just saw the Jimmy Snuka one yesterday, which is super tragic and sad. So I enjoy these very much, but not a bad suggestion to go back. Me and Aaron, who is my co-host on Strong Style, going back and rewatching some of those. And I wish that show got more views. That's one of the shows.
Where is it, John? Is it on your YouTube?
Yeah, it's on the YouTube. It's one of the playlists there on the YouTube. It's just a little bit lower down, and maybe that's affecting people finding it. But it's, it started out nice, but we struggled to get above 500 views for every one of our shows that aren't with Dark Side of the Ring. So
see, and that's so hard because it's hard to put your time right now into things that aren't getting as many views. So you guys at home, you have so much of the power, because the things that get more views are the things that we put more time into. So if you want to see more of that, then make sure you tell your friends about it. And youtube.com/John Rocha says, make sure you go to that to support. But speaking of wrestling stuff, I did want to talk a little bit. So I know this is a strange way to phrase this, but can you explain the WWE being essential and the layoffs and what's happening with WWE right now to me?
Let me tell you something about life that Roxanne and I already know, and some of you probably already know. It's good to have friends in high places. And when you're Linda McMahon and you ran the Small Business Administration for a certain Donald Trump, guess what? You get deemed an essential business when you had to shut down the XFL and lose money there. And B, you lost $1 billion as a company when you fired your 2 top executives just a few short months ago. So you are struggling to maintain a business at the levels that it was at before. If they had deemed the WWE was not essential, then all these contractors wouldn't have had to wrestle. And so the WWE would have lost so much money as it goes along. And so DeSantis made a decision. I think it's a corruptible decision to go and keep them going, because we already just found out, thanks to our friend Ryan Satin on the Pro Wrestling Sheet, one person got diagnosed with coronavirus who had been in contact with other people.
Do we know who?
WWE. We don't know who. And I have my suspicions of the person that it might be. But we don't know who specifically.
Can you tell me who you're speculating, or you can't say? Because
they're saying it's a low-level staffer, but I'm reading in other places that it's an on-air talent. And so if it's an on-air talent, that's sweat, that's physical touching, that's all that kind of jazz going into a locker room. And
I mean, that's guaranteed spread. That's guaranteed spread.
Yeah, and we'll see. And look, the Rams yesterday announced that they're starting one of their centers who was training at their facility. The LA Rams got coronavirus, and this is the thing. People want to rush back. People are going to get infected and die from this stuff, possibly. So it's crazy to be rushing back. But anyway, that's why. But the WWE, to make ends meet, released a bunch of wrestlers yesterday.
Was there anybody that was like shocking to you or a really big bummer?
Oh yeah, Rusev was a big bummer for me, because I think they've fumbled Rusev who is a great wrestler and a friend of our friend Jen Decker. Him and Lana, who are married, Lana and Jen went to Florida State together. So Rusev was a big loss for me because I like him as a wrestler. Zack Ryder is a fan favorite. I think Anderson and Gallows were always on the way out. Slater's been on the way out for years, and they finally did it. But pretty much everyone else, I mean, it was sad to see Sarah Logan go as well, but pretty much everyone else had kind of had their shot, not quite gotten a fully completely over. So it made sense that everybody that they released, they were kind of lower. They weren't working a main program, things of that nature. But the Drake Maverick firing is a big one because he had been such an essential part of that recent 24/7 title run that him and R-Truth were kind of exchanging the belt all the time. And his wife, Drake Maverick's marriage was brought in as a storyline because he was getting married.
Why do you think it happened?
It's all just money. I think they saw who's making the most money, but not getting as much on camera time. Let's start cutting those people. And do we have storylines in the work for those people? No, I don't think it's about quality of their work at all. Most of everything in wrestling is storyline based because they all have a quality or else they wouldn't even be considered by the WWE. It's a matter of storylines. And if there wasn't the right storylines for them or anything they saw coming down the road, then it's a cut that you could make. But a lot of good wrestlers got cut. And so we'll see what happens, where they end up, because not all the indies can absorb all these wrestlers at once. So,
and it's all subject to change anyway. So it's so hard to even get invested right now in any decision that any company is making, because it could be completely changed within a month, 2 months, 5 months, 6 months, whatever, a year. That's tough though.
Do you know if Giovanni survived?
Here's what I know. Okay. A week ago, Johnny and I texted about him coming on this show, and he said he needed to ask permission.
Right.
So I know, and then we texted like maybe 3 days ago about it. And so I know he was still there. Okay. I haven't spoken to him in the last 3 days about it. So unless something has changed, I think he's okay. Yeah. But tough time. So I don't know. I'll definitely reach out to him today. But interesting what's going on there. And I feel awful for any person who's losing their job because of this. I feel bad for every person. It's so tough. Going back into the Streamlabs, streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer. All right. PC says Tombstone is a masterpiece. Okay. Garth Harkness McMurray says, yes, we raised $2,000. This video of Brett shaving his head in front of his wife and kids on the SEM Patreon for $10 and up. It's so funny. There are also videos of Brett as the flatter flouse, the flirtin' flousy, whatever, dancing, starting Kickstarter to shave Rocha and Roxy. Wow. Just do Rocha, no Roxy.
$5,000.
His poor wife. Imagine having to sleep with somebody has that curly Q situation. PC in here says it's Rachel Silverstream's birthday today. She's 20 subs away from 100. Rock stars help bunnies for all. 100%. Jake Yakoveta, will you put her link in the stream? I'll throw that up, and hopefully you guys can go subscribe to Rachel Silverstream. It's her birthday. Come on, let's make it happen. King Roman, what'd you say?
Give us some love. Give us some love.
King Roman says, can't think of a question right now, just showing support. King Roman, that totally works for us. Thank you. Cousin Vinny says, hey, Roxy. Hey, Rocha. Do you listen to reggaeton? Fan of any of the new artists today? Bad Bunny, Azuna, Malama? So that's a no from me. John?
I have heard Bad Bunny. But I also hear it's not the greatest person necessarily be involved with. So I have heard of Bad Bunny. I have heard a couple of the tracks. Right now, Dorian would be snickering at me if you heard me talk about it.
Why is he a reggae person?
I know he's just anything to do with what the young kids are listening to. He enjoyed.
Is reggae a young kids thing?
Well, I think the way they're doing it now, because the artists are a lot younger now. So there's no real Bob Marley or the old days. Those people that were involved back then. Yeah. Jimmy Cliff and things of that nature. So, but reggaeton is like a whole different thing than reggae, so it's a whole version of reggae.
Oh, I didn't even know that. Reggaeton is not reggae?
It's not considered like pure reggae. It's like smooth jazz is not really jazz, or fusion jazz.
But the way that you say reggae is like you were saying Ray J. Why do you pronounce You go reggae.
Yeah, reggae. Well, I pronounce it in a way that's, to me, it's like both those syllables are important in the overall word.
The
Reggae.
ray and the gay.
Yeah, both.
All right.
Yeah.
Sure. Sorry, cousin Vinny. I wish I could tell you that I do listen to Azuna. Ben Wellington says, "Hey Roxy and John, loving the variety of topics today and all the amazing content daily. Curious how you view the competitive nature of the Schmodown now versus season 2, and if you think there could be a different tier of players in the future piece versus season 2. How come versus season 2?
I think season 2 is when, I started creating the outlaw and the character. Season 2 is when we were doing, I think season 2 is when we were doing it at AfterBuzz in that small little room and everyone was going in and doing it. So it wasn't quite the high production value that it is now. And season 3 is when everything started changing. The outlaw came in and the graphics, space, all of that was great. So there are arguments to be made that there are more knowledgeable people in a smaller pool back in season 2. So battling those people, you have a little more credit than beating someone who's come out of the fan leagues or beating someone's going to, like, I think at that point. But nowadays, all these people coming in understand the game. So the level of competition, because they do a lot of training and studying and whatever, that maybe they don't see all the movies, but they certainly, I think Ben changing the game in that way, creating a system where you could just study the basic facts about a movie and still be able to succeed in the Schmodown and win a title in the Schmodown has kind of shown the way for a lot of the younger players to come into the league and be able to hang with the older players who've watched a lot of movies. So,
I think it's also a lot less casual.
It was,
it was very casual, fun, chill. And now it's like, and I don't mean this for better or worse, just different. Now it's like dead ass serious. I mean, it is so serious. And I know we're doing movie trivia, but it's very legitimate. So that's like the biggest difference to me. Speaking about Schmodown stuff, Garth McMurray in the Patreon said, Rocha with Dan Murrell, who obviously is your Schmodown partner, leaving fandom and Screen Junkies to do his own streaming content. I was wondering if you and Dan might be doing a Founding Fathers show together once a week or once a month.
That could be fun.
That would be awesome.
I think Dan wants to kind of walk his own path a little bit. I think he would have reached out to me if he wanted to do something like that. And maybe I'll reach out to him. Maybe he's like Roxy, where it's better if you reach out because she gets caught up in, should I invite this person, not invite this person?
I'm so awkward.
So maybe Dan is that way too, because of course Dan's a bit of an introvert himself. And so maybe if I reach out and have a conversation with him, we'll see. I would love to do a show with Dan.
That's a good idea, John, because I think he's trying to navigate this space right now, and you see he's popping up on everyone's show right now because he hasn't been able to do that for years. And so it's an exciting time for him, and I'm sure he wants to do some collabs, and especially he said once a week or once a month doing a Founding Fathers thing would be so fun for you guys. I feel like. I
think you're right. Maybe even put it on the Patreon. That could be a fun way to boost up the Patreon as well. And of course, give some to Dan as well. But that could be fun.
What's cool about that is if you guys are doing a Patreon exclusive, it could go on both of your Patreons.
Yeah, that's true. You're right about that. It could go on both our patrons. So, and he's going to be my guest on the Outlaw Nation show on Tuesday night. So I booked him about a week ago. So he just after his YouTube channel launches, he will be on my show next Tuesday night to just talk about everything and the new world that he's walking into. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's a wild space he's walking into, but I have to say there's nobody better to walk into this space. I know you guys like him a little bit.
At Dan. People are going to throw stuff at Dan.
It is crazy. He is so loved. When I introduced him on the show, I said, I have never met a person as loved as you. Everyone loves Dan Murrell. Everyone. And he's earned that for sure. Coming back into the Streamlabs, streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer. Glenn Caesar says, hey, Roxy and Rocha, happy Thursday. Thanks for virtually hanging out with us and giving us another great show from Rocha Roxy today. He put that in quotes like the end of the song. Rocha Roxy. Y'all are the best. No question. Just wanted to support. Much love and positive vibes to you both. Hashtag Rockstars Band. Hashtag Outlaw Nation. Glenn, you're amazing. You're so generous and supportive. And thank you. Thank you for showing that
Respect.
Appreciate you. Also in here, Lloyd Nance just showed support. Appreciate that. But I see out of the corner of my eye, friend of ours,
Oh no,
Kevin Smets in the house. What? Smets himself. He says, two of my favorite people on the screen. What's up, Smets?
What's up, Smetsy? You studying
Smets
Star Wars, son?
Why you gotta bring it like that? Why you gotta bring it like that? Come on.
I love Smetsy.
Do you think that the answer to that is anything other than yes?
I can't wait. We're gonna have fun in the ring.
Obviously studying. Going back into these super chats. I work at a movie theater, so I'm crossing my fingers now, thinking for freelance workers, says Larry Lease. You know what? There's a lot of people in the Rockstars band that worked at movie theaters. I think it's because that's what you do when you love movies. It's one of the main jobs that we have. Yeah. I, of course, love alcohol, so I worked at a bar forever, but to each their own. I'm rooting for movie theaters. I don't think John and I were saying anything other than positive things about that, but it might be a little bit. Yeah. It might be a little bit until things go kind of back. Larry also said, Rocha, what was it like during the Civil War?
Tough. We didn't have movie theaters.
Wow, that was tough. So just to be clear, the toughest part of the Civil War was not having movie theaters.
Just to be clear, there were no Latinos in the Civil War. Let's put that out there first. So let's move on from there, Larry Lease. By the way, who's that in the picture with Larry in his profile picture? Is that an actress or a friend or a fan?
John,
yeah.
Do you listen to me at all? You think I can see that?
Well, maybe you can throw it up here. It doesn't have to donate any money. Maybe you can
talk about being in the Civil War. That's my eyes feel like they have been around for that long. Oh, I can't see anything. There's two people in the picture with Larry. It's him and another person.
It's him and another person. Some woman leaning in. I don't know who that is.
Can't see that to save my life. Yeah. Will Watson says, just a shout out to one of my favorite Schmodown people, and Rocha's there too. Got you a new case of tennis balls, man. Hashtag Rockstar Outlaws. What's the tennis balls thing?
Well, Will keeps giving me shit about being old, and he says he's going to get me new tennis balls for my walker. And I told him the next time I see him, I don't care. I'm gonna flip him in that wheelchair. I don't care. I'll flip him. I don't give a shit about it. And he rolls with it. Will is so great. He comes on my stream. He's on my Patreon as well. He's that's awesome. So much fun. Yeah, I love it.
I thought the balls thing was about because you on SEN or backstage you talked about low hanging balls, your low hanging balls or something.
I never talked about it. I said I would drag my balls on someone's face. That's what I said on Garth McMurray's face.
Oh my God! Well, never forget. Preston Bryant, are there any fans that have left an impact on you? Oh my God! Are you kidding? So many, John. I'm sure your answer is the same.
It's an hour-long answer, so we don't have enough time. But certainly, many fans have left an impact on me, and I'm sure on Roxy and many people involved, not just in the Schmodown, but outside as pundits and critics and whatever. It's always fun to run into people.
Can I ask you a question about what you just said?
Sure.
You often use the word pundits.
Yes.
But you say it about yourself.
Yes.
Because I kind of have, to me, it has a little bit of a negative connotation.
Pundit does? Really?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. I don't know. Something about it sounds like you're like a cog in the wheel. Like, I don't know. Like you're part of the, like, yes, you're an expert in the space, but like you're being used for the machine. But maybe that could just be my own bias on the word.
Yeah, because I mean, a pundit is an expert in a particular subject or field who is frequently called on to give opinions about it to the public. So that's what I think we all are. The
called on part. I feel like they're a gun for hire.
Oh, interesting. No, I think it's someone
that's not what it means.
Hey, Rocha, can you come on my stream? I want to talk about Westerns. Then I'm a pundit because then I'm talking about Westerns. Mm-hmm. It's when you're called upon. So I make the delineation. Like I think we're all critics. I think we're all pundits, regardless of what Roxy thinks. I think she's a critic, things that nature. And so, we all offer our opinions on things. So whether we're asked or not, we offer our opinions on things. So if you want, I can say analysts, if that's a better.
You can say whatever you want. I just didn't know whether I had whatever. It doesn't really matter. You said it before. Kevin Smets, more importantly, says, I want Rocha's ass so bad. I want candy ass and I want it now.
You jabroni.
You guys sure talk about each other's asses a lot. Larry Lee says, journalist friend John.
That's it? Just a journalist friend? All right, Larry. Now, don't give too much away.
What is happening?
That's weird. I don't know. All right.
Okay. Wiley Todd, Roxy, you're the best, and respect for the grind. And Rocha, my man. TTYL. Thanks,
Yeah.
Wiley Todd. Appreciate
Thank you,
you. Larry popping in a lot today. I like this. Rocha is a Civil War pundit.
Yes, I will absolutely analyze the Civil War. I've watched Ken Burns' The Civil War a million times, and so I'll happily be called on to talk about the Civil War. I grew up in Virginia, where many battlefields were there, so happily be a pundit about the Civil War.
Oh no, wait, I just saw this while you're saying that. Ben M says, unfortunately, it's been reported that John Costa was let go by the WWE.
Oh no.
No.
Was it really? Damn.
That's what Ben M says. I don't think he would make that up, but I'll be reaching out to my friend John.
He was so happy to get that job. He worked so hard.
We don't know what's going to happen in the future. We don't know.
True.
Oh, God.
I'm looking at his Twitter. He has not said. Last thing was from April 14th, so that was yesterday. So he has not issued any statement on Twitter.
I'll be texting him.
Yeah, okay. I don't see him. I don't see it being announced. So,
no. All right. Fingers crossed that it's just a bad rumor then.
Yeah.
Buttered Butt Biscuit says, big fan of you both. Lucky to meet you both in Houston. Rocha, you mentioned your love for music videos. Any that stand out that are more contemporary, say in the last 15 years or so?
I think a lot of the EDM music videos are fantastic. I've really enjoyed those. I always get weird. I always get self-conscious on a plane, because on a plane, I will watch music videos for 3 or 4 hours on a plane to kind of like keep me not thinking about the fact that I'm in the sky in a metal tube that could go down at any moment. So I feel weird that people are looking over and watching me watch like Busta Rhymes music videos or, Bruce Springsteen music videos or any number of music videos that creep up. And I'm always self-conscious that people are judging what I'm watching. So as far as the more modern, I try to watch the more modern ones so people don't think I'm some old fogey.
Oh, come on. Who cares? Who cares?
I do. I still have that thing. I was a nerdy kid in high school. I made fun of all the time. So to me, I'm always in my head. I think some of Afrojack stuff is really great. Let's see. I'm looking at my list because I have like 250. DJ Khaled has great. What's that?
You have a list?
Oh yeah. On Apple TV, you can, if you download music videos, you can slide them over into a separate playlist. Did you see this? By the way, did you see the Michael Bublé thing? Did you see the elbow to his wife? Were they making too much of it?
I did, and she came out and was like, she was like, you guys are, I know my relationship and my husband, and I know, so don't tell me what goes on when I know or something. And I was like,
because as a woman, you're like, ooh,
yeah,
I know that defense.
Well, because who am I to say?
Right,
but also, ugh. Like,
right.
There's these situations that I don't even know how to talk about, like the Johnny Depp Amber Heard situation, where the whole thing just makes you say like,
yeah, right.
Or who was it? It was some MCU actor with the release of the text messages from the ex-wife.
Yes.
Remember? That was just like that's the literal noise I make when I see these things. I'm like, oh God, gross. I wish I didn't see this or know this.
Yeah. It's always weird because none of us are in that relationship.
I know.
None of us know what was said. None of us know minute by minute, second by second, who said what to who to spark. And I think all of us, and probably many people watching us right now, Roxy, or listening to us, they've been in bad relationships with people that are not right for them, and they brought out the worst in them, or they allowed them to bring out the worst in them. And that's a terrible situation. Lord knows my previous relationship, we got into the worst fights. I mean, the most terrible fights because we weren't right for each other. And so the terrible things you can say sometimes, the worst are the casual shots that are just like devastating. And she was a master of that shit. Yeah.
Gosh, everything I hear about the past relationship sounds painful. But it's kind of like what we saw in Marriage Story, and then all of a sudden it's like you're telling each other you wish that the other one was dead. And it's like, how did we get here? That's
why I like the movie, because I thought it was gutsy to put that argument in there. Yeah,
I agree. King Roman says, breaking news, Gilead drug showing effectiveness treating Coronavirus, S&P up 2% after hours, as per CNBC. Keeping fingers crossed.
Sure.
Is that real? Is that?
Who knows? Yeah, maybe it is like out there and they're testing, but like everyone thinks this is a movie that it's going to be overnight. We're going to find the cure. No, it's going to take time. All these incredibly intelligent people are saying it's going to take time, but people want to overnight find a cure. It's not going to happen for a while because they still got to test it and they got to do multiple trials and then they got to figure out what they're going to do and how to implement it and what are the side effects. Man, we're so far away from the cure.
We don't even have so Ben Bateman went to go get tested today.
Yes, thank God.
And he, told me that the place was empty. Nobody was there. And that he almost puked during the test because of how far they have to go down. Yeah. But that afterwards they said, we will contact you in 7 to 10 days.
Yep. Yeah.
He has no number to reach out to them. There's no, you got to hope that they say something to you in 7 to 10 days.
Yeah. My friends in Carolina had this happen, their entire family, Roxy, and they came to their house.
No way.
They put them in a Vanagon, their own Vanagon, and tested the baby, him and her. And the tests were insane because they don't just go down your throat; they go up your nose as far as possible.
Right.
And then when they were all done, they said, "We'll let you know in 7 days." And it's like you just sit in this feeling of unknowing, and you have to self quarantine until then. So it's
Ben's
crazy.
Doctor told him if it comes back negative, that means absolutely nothing. You very likely still have it.
Oh my God!
Because the samples that they're getting are not far down enough. And because if you've had it for a certain amount of time, it won't show up with the tests they're giving you because it's not to see if you've had it, it's if you have it.
Yeah.
So they can't test for the antibodies with the new one. So he said, if you test positive, it means something, but if you test negative, it means nothing. You can't take it as a reading. So it's like crazy. Sorry, I know we have to get out of here very, very soon. So I want to jam through a couple of these. John Doe, let's keep the stream going. Have so much fun. We sure are keeping it going. Ben Rayner says top 3 Mel Brooks movies. Mine are Spaceballs, Young Frankenstein, and Blazing Saddles. Rocha does not count as a Western. Hashtag Rockstar's Horseman. Ooh, I like except actually, it's an interesting hashtag. I don't know about top 3, but I do know my number 1 is Spaceballs. John, what do you got?
Yeah, Young Frankenstein's number 1 for me will always be number 1. I would put Spaceballs below. I think some of the humor of Blazing Saddles doesn't hold up as well as it used to. So yeah, I'm probably not thinking of one right off the top of my head that I should totally put on that list, but I guess I'll put Blazing Saddles there at 3. Yeah.
And does it count as a Western?
Yeah, totally a Western. It's just a comedic Western. It totally happens.
All right. Glenn Caesar, 322 watching, 195 likes. Hit that thumbs up button, people.
Nice.
Pimping out the stream. Pimping out the stream. John, I got to say, you bring the questions and the views, my friend.
Oh, I appreciate that.
When I went on your show, there were a lot of people too. There's a Rocha Roxy thing. There's a Rocha Roxy thing. I'm telling you.
This is gold.
It's a thing. We're a gold thing. Oh my goodness, more people in the Streamlabs. PC says, OMG, yes, Rocha, I made the mistake of watching La Bamba the week before I flew to Chicago to the top 10 show last April. Yeah. Bad idea. Also, Rachel is still under 100. How is Rachel still under 100? Go like her channel. Well, at least he came to your show. I don't think he's saying going to the show was a bad idea. Just watching La Bamba. Yeah. Garth McMurray says, I was eating a very raw steak the other day, and it brought back fond memories of the old days hunting woolly mammoths with Rocha. Rocha was always nice about sharing the meat with me. He also complimented my cave drawings often. Keep on coming. Keep on keeping on. Garth, that was amazing.
That was brilliant, Garth. Well, you got to share the meat or else the person don't want to go hunting with you again.
It was kind of a compliment. It was
a compliment.
Weston Ira says, overtime party. Guess I might as well join in. Totally. And I wanted to talk about this prom situation, but we are out of time. Just very quickly for everybody at home, if you are seniors or in high school, just know that he is doing a prom. I feel awful for you guys who aren't able to go to prom. Obviously, there are a ton of things going on in the world right now, but you deserve to have a prom. So check out John Krasinski this Friday night at 5 p.m. Eastern time, 8 p.m. Pacific. He is doing a whole prom. Whoever knows what that means for what's the name of the series, John? It's the only good news.
Yeah, only good news. Yeah.
Good news. So check that out for any of you guys who may or may not still be in high school. When I say or may not, I didn't mean or may not. If you're not in high school, don't do that. Don't go to prom. Just only the people who are in high school. Wow, Roxy, geez. John, again, before we get out of here, though, all the places they can find you on the 90 shows that you're working on and killing it on.
Thank you. Yeah, you can find me doing my cave paintings over at my channel.
That one really got me.
No, that was a good one. www.youtube.com/John Rocha says go and subscribe. I want to get to that magical number that Roxy got at 20,000 subscribers. So pushing and pushing and pushing. And I want to thank everybody.
Go do it, guys, because it's hard. It's hard to get there, and it means something. And more eyes and ears. That's how that we're going to stay living right now. So please go subscribe. Sorry, John, continue.
No, yeah. And please come and subscribe on Patreon as well. www.patreon.com/John Rocha. There's a lot of tiers there for you to sign up at. And there's going to be a lot of benefits, a lot of more benefits coming down the road as I understand how to work that Patreon more and more. So definitely a lot of stuff like personal shows, things that's watch alongs, things that will only be accessible for the patrons themselves. And of course, please keep giving love to the Geek Buddies, Top 10, and the Cinephiles podcasts that I do. A lot of great stuff there that we're still working on. I'm about to record a top 10 with Matt after this. And so we're still, hitting the bricks. We never release the topics before we drop our episodes. So,
I had to ask, that I like to know everything.
I appreciate that. Is there anything else? And then follow me at The Rocha Says on Twitter and on Instagram. I'm trying to get above 20,000 on Instagram, trying to get above 35,000 on Twitter. So any kind of love you can give me there would be great.
20 and 35. I think we're right in the same places.
I think so too.
I've been really not paying attention to my Instagram and Twitter. I got to give them some love. What are you taking pictures of on Instagram right now?
Just stuff that some of the pictures Lindley took of me, I put one up, and we've been taking our nightly walks, and then and we'll stop somewhere and I'll take a picture. She calls me a basic bee because all I do is take pictures in front of sites and things of that nature, but I like it, so I'll take the criticism. I don't mind it.
Well, I think that being a basic bee is underrated.
Yeah, that's right.
This time, guys, for everybody who's tuning in tomorrow, my friend Lauren LaGrasso, she's an incredible musician. She's going to be on the show. She's dropping a new song, so I'm really excited to have her on Saturday. Trisha Hirschberger is coming on, which I'm pumped about as well. Awesome. And then I don't know my 420 situation yet, but I definitely know I'm going to be doing a cannabis stream. Andrew Guy's coming on Tuesday. Christian Harloff on Wednesday, character actor Sean Whalen on Thursday. So stacked week coming ahead. You're not going to want to miss it. Wow.
You're setting it up. I love it. It's great.
You're going to say we're just the same right now. We're doing it. We're really doing it, John. That's what they say in Bridesmaids. Really doing it.
We're really doing it.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. Everybody at home, you guys know I like to end these. So communally clap for John Rocha. I can feel you guys all doing it at home.
Thank you for having me, Roxy, and thank you to all of you for donating and for your comments. Very, very kind. Thank you.
John, on both your stream and on my stream, we want to talk about our weird-ass friendship and how it formed, but just too many questions. So we're going to have to do another one at some point on yours and then on mine, and we can just bounce back and forth forever. John, you rock. I think you're amazing. I more than respect everything you're doing. I know how hard you work, and it's really paying off. So again, you're not trying, you're doing, and thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you. I had a blast.
Bye, Rockstars. See you tomorrow.